Welcome back to this one-on-one sports webcast. I'm joined by our Ryder Cup experts Pat Everett and Megan Podgorski to discuss the upcoming Ryder Cup. So let's tee things off with the Americans. The Americans are coming in with 3 rookies this year: Jimmy Walker, Patrick Reed, and Jordan Spieth. Which one of these guys is going to have the biggest impact on the team? Megan, I'll start with you.
I'm going to go with Jordan Spieth. I mean, he's a young face, very popular with Americans. Everyone knows who he is. He wants to prove himself. I mean, this is that kind of event. Yes, of course, tournaments matter, but this is the Ryder Cup. This is the end-all to be-all for this golf season. I mean, he finished 4th at the AT&T, 8th at the BMW, 17th at the U.S. Open, which was a huge struggle for many players this year. So he just wants to prove himself on a bigger and more competitive stage, I guess.
Yeah, and I definitely think Jordan Spieth would be a good pick out of this rookie field for the U.S. I mean, he has previous match play experience. He played in the President's Cup for the U.S. last October. But I think as far as consistent golf goes, Jimmy Walker's the best pick. He's second right now on the FedEx Open points standings. He has the lowest score on par 3s this season, and on the Ryder Cup Centenary course with the front 9 loaded with par 3s, I think that's going to be a good fit for him course-wise.
Yeah, you know, I think I'm going to go with Jordan Spieth on this one only because I think he wants to prove himself, and I think he's going to on a big stage like this. But moving on, the European team, we all know, stacked with great players like McIlroy, Poulter, McDowell. But if you're Tom Watson, captain of the United States team, who are you looking out as a dark horse?
Well, I definitely think someone you're going to have to figure out how to beat is Martin Kaymer. He's played 2 Ryder Cups before, and he's matched up against Mickelson and Fowler, and he's beat them both times. And on the previous U.S. Open, the final day, he was up big, and he was paired with Fowler. And on a day that he just had to coast, he ended up beating Fowler by 3 strokes on a day where Fowler really needed to chase and do well, and Kaymer outputted him and outplayed him.
I mean, that's a very good choice. I mean, he was solid. Everyone who's a golf fan that watched the U.S. Open knows he was ahead by 10 strokes going into the 3rd day. And, I mean, U.S. Open course, Pinehurst #2 is insane to play for every golfer. But I'm going to have to go with Victor Dubuisson. He's, again, just like Spieth, a new face. He's 24 years old, wants to prove himself. He did really well this year on both the American stage and the European Tour, finishing 7th at the PGA Champion, 9th at the Open, and 28th at the U.S. Open. He also had a great showing. So we'll see if his eagerness will compete with the Ricky Fowlers going into this Ryder Cup.
I don't really know about that. I think from Team USA's perspective, I think he's an easy target in head-to-head matchups. He has no previous Ryder Cup experience, and with the experience that the USA does have, they could put someone on him that could beat him head-to-head.
I think that's a good point, but you're right. This is his first Ryder Cup, and you have to remember that. I mean, he's never been in match play, so he needs that chance.
You know, I think I'm split on this one. I think I'm going to go with Kaymer only because he does seem to have 2 of the U.S.'s numbers in Mickelson and Fowler. But if you're the U.S., you just have to be aware of all European players because they're stacked. There's no getting around that. But let's talk about the U.S. again. They have a lot of chips stacked against them. They haven't won. They've won 1 of the past 6 Ryder Cups, and they need 14.5 points to win the Cup. So that being said, what chance do you give the U.S. of winning the Cup this year?
I give him a sad 15%. I mean, it's just I hate to say it, but everyone who's playing needs to win. All of the guarantees need to win. I mean, you can't mess this up for the U.S. I mean, they're the underdogs. I mean, I can't give them more than 15%.
I'd have to give them a generous 25%, and I think the key for the U.S. is they have to keep up with Europe on the putting green. Rory McIlroy is #1 in the world in putts over 25 feet. Graham McDowell is #1 in the world in total putting, and Ian Poulter is in the top 10 in short putts. And I think the U.S. is just going to get out-putted and outplayed.
You know, I'm going to go right in the middle of you guys. I'm going to give them 18% because while I do think they are outmatched by the Europeans, this is America. We're supposed to come out victorious. We're supposed to step up, and I think maybe we will, but most likely with all the chips stacked up against us, it's going to be tough. That's all the time we have for the One-on-One Sports webcast. If you missed anything from this week's episode, make sure to check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/oneonOnesports. Go to our Facebook page at One-on-One Sports and check out our Twitter account at, you guessed it, One-on-One Sports. For the producers and crew here at One-on-One Sports, we thank you for tuning in, and as always, whose side are you on?